Study Session 10, Political Participation, Introduction. In our last study session, we discussed the meaning of political socialization and distinguished between its various forms or patterns using agencies, process, time span, and change as conceptual or analytical categories. In the present study session, you will be exposed to the definition and forms of political participation. The first part of this study session shall be devoted to the conceptualization of the term political participation, while the second part shall focus on the major forms and levels of political participation. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this study session, you should be able to define political participation in your own words, discuss levels of political participation, and identify forms of political participation. The meaning of political participation. Political participation is one of those concepts in the social sciences that have been defined in several ways and given different meanings. Nye and Verba have defined political participation as consisting of those level activities by private citizens which are more or less directly aimed at influencing the selection of government personnel and or the actions they take. It involves those voluntary activities by which members of society share in the selection of rulers and directly or indirectly in the formation and implementation of public policy. Simply put, it is involvement of private citizens in political activities, and effective political socialization affects, in positive terms, the future political participation. By implication, political participation involves the following. 1. It is concerned with influencing the composition and conduct or personnel and policies of government. 2. It is not limited to voting at elections, but includes many other ways in which citizens try to influence government decisions. 3. Since political participation is often defined to include the activities of private citizens only, government and party officials are described as objects, not source of political participation. 4. Illegal and often violent forms of participation, such as riots and assassinations, are treated as abnormal as only legal forms of participation are recognized. 5. Participation is often regarded as a desirable or positive process. It has been seen as civic duty, as a sign of political health, as the best method of ensuring that one's private interests are not neglected, and as requisite in a democracy. 6. Finally, political participation is a concrete activity of behavior and not simply a psychological orientation or disposition. Forms and levels of political participation. You should be aware that political participation can take a wide variety of forms and can occur at various levels. Also, getting involved in politics entails cost in time, energy, and resources. By implication, the amount of resources that individuals are able and willing to sacrifice is likely to determine the form or level of their participation. Lester Malbraith, in his book Political Participation, published in 1965, has made a very useful classification of levels of political participation. He distinguishes between political participation at the spectator level, the transition level, and the gladiatorial level. Our discussion will mainly be on the corresponding activities of each of these levels of participation, as well as include the cost in terms of time, energy, material resources involved, percentage of participants at each level, and the benefits derived. Spectator level of participation. These are the activities in which people involve themselves at the spectator level of participation. A. Voting at election. B. Initiating a public discussion. C. Attempting to influence another into voting in a certain way. And D. Wearing a political party badge or displaying party stickers. It is quite obvious that the activities listed above entail relatively little cost in time, energy, and resources. Market women, artisans, and students of higher learning form the bulk of participants at this level in Nigeria, for instance. Consequently, many people are able to participate at this level, either of the other two levels. It is important to note that some citizens do not participate in politics even at the level of spectator. These are the apathetics who do not want to involve themselves in politics at all and are almost totally unconscious of the political world around them. Transitional level of participation. Activities at the transitional level include A. Attending a political meeting or rally. B. Making some monetary contribution to a campaign or political cause. And C. Contacting a public official or political leader. Activities at this level require more cost in time and financial resources than those at the spectator level. For example, only 7 and 9% of United States citizens participate at this level. Activities at this level are referred to as transitional because of the general tendency for participants at this level either to descend to the spectator level or ascend to the gladiatorial activities. The gladiatorial level of participation. With regard to gladiatorial level of participation, activities involved include the following. A. Holding a public or party office. B. Being a candidate for office. C. Soliciting or appealing for party funds. D. Attending a caucus or strategy meeting. And E. Contributing time and other resources in a campaign. At this level, activities are not only the most expensive, but also the most effective form of political participation. Not surprisingly, only about 1 to 3% of the population is usually able to participate in politics at the gladiatorial level. On this, a study conducted by Nye and Verba in 1972 revealed 6 forms of participation that are characteristics of 6 different kinds of citizens. According to this study, the 6 different kinds of citizens in a given country are 1. The inactives. 2. The voting specialists. 3. The campaigners. 4. The communalists. 5. The parochialists. And 6. The complete activists. Different factors influence the levels and forms of political participation, and these factors vary across political systems. Generally, these factors can be categorized as economic, social, political, and psychological. Study session summary. In this study session, we have been able to define political participation. It is agreed by most political scientists with behavioral orientation that political participation involves those activities which are more or less directly aimed at influencing the selection of rulers and the formation of public policy. While political participation is not limited to voting during election, illegal and often violent forms of participation like assassination and riots are considered as abnormal ways of participation. You were told that not all people get themselves involved in politics or participate to the same degree. This is due to the fact that participation involves considerable costs in terms of time, energy, and resources, and it is not all people that are willing or able to make the necessary sacrifices. Malbreth therefore classified participants into 3 different levels. These are participants at the spectator level, transitional level, and gladiatorial level. The conclusion here is that the cost of participation in political activities increasing, the number of participants decreasing at each successive level. End of study session 10. Thanks for listening.